Michelle Garcia here with Cielo Spiritual Foundation, my nonprofit put together to help people share and celebrate what they're doing, spiritually connecting in the world, helping humanity today. And today we have a very, very wonderful guest that I know you're going to enjoy and get a lot from. His name is James Uberti. He is a writer and author of several awesome books that are geared to help you live and eat a toxic-free life and really live your best life, healthy life. So James, tell us a little bit about you and what your purpose is and how humanity can benefit from this purpose you've put together.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you for having me, first of all. Appreciate that. So, again, my name is James Uberti. I'm a health and wellness practitioner. I'm also a functional diagnostic nutritionist. So what that means is functional means to fix, right? So Western medicine, typically doctors are trained to heal or treat symptoms, right? Because they don't have a lot of time. And so what they want to do is they want to get you in and out. So they'll treat the symptoms to get you in and out, whereas my practice is to find the root of the problem and to fix it, right? So a lot of things has to do with energy and frequency. We talk about that in our spiritual mission on achieving enlightenment, right? And how do we do that? How do I get to my best self? Well, they say, look, you need body, mind, and spirit, right? So there's a reason why they listed it in that order. Because if your body is toxic, you're certainly not going to have a great mind, right? And if your mind and body are toxic, you're not going to reach your spiritual enlightenment, right? Because let's put it this way, everything begins and ends in your gut, right? I call it the garden for a reason, right? Because if you put in your garden toxic fertilizer and toxic chemicals, essentially you're not going to get any good produce, right? So that's my practice. Essentially, I write books on the topic of being aware, right? Because most Western medicine will treat you, as I said, and a lot of America is on the program of what we call disease care, right? And what I mean by that is a wait and see approach until they get a disease, and then they go in and to a doctor, and at that time, usually that particular disease has run its course. Whereas my practice goes into the approach of making my patients or clients aware of the things that make them sick.
Preventative. Nice.
Correct.
Nice.
And it's called aware care, right?
Nice.
And it's very important as opposed to disease care, wait and see care, right?
Love it.
So everyone is on that program. So I just kind of retrain their brain a little bit to just become aware of the things that they can do. It's not very hard. It's frankly quite simple once you're aware of all the things that makes your body toxic and run in a way that is not conducive to reaching your enlightenment.
So tell us about the book you wrote, this toxic-free diet, and how it could complement this way of living.
Sure. So the book is pretty awesome in the sense that it covers everything. I wanted to write an instruction manual on...
Can you show us the front?
Sure.
Beautiful.
There you go.
Look at that, like clean food.
So you can find me on Amazon under James Uberti, U-B-E-R-T-I, or this particular title here, Toxic Free Diet. So, as I indicated earlier, it's not necessarily about food, the book, about eating clean, although important. It's more about trying to live a cleaner life. And in chapter 6, I talk about the 80-20 rule of just living clean, not eating clean, but I'm talking about the things that we put on our skin, the chemicals that we put on our skin. Our skin is the largest organ in our body, and so therefore we have to be mindful of the things that we put on it because your body will absorb that, and that creates an imbalance. So the book is about, yes, eating clean and avoiding additives, preservatives, and foods that are toxic to your body and your gut, but it also trains you and educates you to become aware on all the things that are making your body perform poorly.
And what happens, can you tell us a little more about what happens to the body when it's performing poorly as opposed to it performing at its optimal with a toxic-free lifestyle?
Right. As I said earlier, everything, the holy grail of weight loss and wellness comes to your gut, right? Mm-hmm. And so we talk about the gut being the most important thing. It's about balance, right? There's 100 trillion microbes in your digestive system. Think about that. We only have 50 billion cells in our body, and they're duking it out for dominance, right? The good bacteria versus the bad bacteria.
Right.
And unfortunately, a lot of us are walking around with dysbiosis, which is an imbalance, right, of the good versus bad. Now, we talk about balance and synergy. We talk about energy, right? And I'll get to that point. And one thing that I wanted to mention is, interestingly enough, everything is about energy, right? Frequency and energy. It's your spiritual enlightenment, right? And every cell in your body, your 50 billion cells, have a negative and a positive polarity. And they give out about 1.4 volts of electricity. Every cell in your body.
Nice.
If you were able to harness that energy into one form, you would have 700 million volts of electricity. That's how much power is in your body.
Beautiful.
And so when it's unbalanced, it's not functioning at its best. Your mind is out of balance. And so what I talk about is to reach perfect alignment in your body. It's about balance. The book is all about how do we get there?
Right.
How do we achieve balance? So if we have a dysbiosis of the gut bacteria, then basically we're going to make poor choices. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how the gut bacteria, which is called Candida yeast, which is a parasite, and how that affects your energy, your chi. It also affects your emotions.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So for an example, if we have, and by the way, 80% of people on this planet are walking around with a Candida yeast infection, which is basically more bad gut bacteria than good. And so the thing is that a lot of people don't understand, and again, it's going back to that whole aware care, right, is that a large percentage of serotonin, and serotonin is our feel-good hormone, right? It's life itself. If you're depressed, what happens? Your mood changes, you eat bad, you do bad things, you take drugs. It's the holy grail, right, that I talk about. So when I'm consulting with addicts, right, and people who want to lose weight and can't control their appetite or their sugar addictions, we address the gut, the garden, right? And so in order to do that, as I said, 80% of your serotonin is produced in your gut.
Right.
Think about that for a second. If your gut, your garden, is toxic, then you're not going to have that healthy, good, feel-good energy to propel yourself perpetually in life with a positive attitude. It just doesn't work.
This is awesome, and I wanted to ask you more about that online approach to getting counseling or life coaching per se from you to integrate this new way of living and understand it better and ongoingly.
Sure. So as far as online, again, you can reach me through Amazon or through my name as far as James Uberti, Toxic Free Diet and Living. Also, I have another book called Ultra Clean Living, which is essentially how to live a cleaner life, to live longer, stronger, right? So that's very important for people as well. And I just released a new book for children. It was my first children's book. So I'm real excited about that because it teaches children the fundamental basics of developing a good habit, right? Because again, it's making them aware of what good habits are all about and how to practice them that propel them.
But beyond the scope of the books, can somebody get a hold of you to life coach them in conjunction with the books to help them really live this new way of living?
Sure, absolutely. Reach out to me on Facebook, James Uberti or Toxic Free Diet. I'm under either one of those.
You have a website they can get a hold of you on?
I don't.
Okay.
I'm working on
that. I'll work on that. That would be really.
Sure.
This generation is moving more and more online care.
100%.
So I'm super grateful that we could get you online today through YouTube for people to learn more about how to take better care of this. I really feel like this whole COVID thing was a call for people to reset their ideas around nutrition and well-being and really go deeper and look at what they can do, like you said, as preventative and building that immune and building in the ways that say they get ill, that there is a way to overcome it rather than look at it as a death sentence or, fearfully, but instead just an awareness around how can I better take care of my well-being.
100%.
My health is my wealth.
Absolutely, 100%. And we talk about that a lot, and COVID was just a constant reminder of how important your health is, because, again, getting back to your gut, not only does it produce serotonin, but it also produces a lot of your immunity system, right? And one of the things that I also practice and preach is feeding your gut good fertilizer. Right. And that fertilizer is probiotics and prebiotics. Right.
Oh, that's nice.
And then taking care of your body, eating right. But again, everyone thinks that it's about eating well, right? And eating clean. That's half of the equation. Avoiding these toxic chemicals cause this dysbiosis and this chemical imbalance in your body that basically destroys cells.
So in the past, we've had you come and facilitate workshops here, and some of the things that my clients really enjoyed was my purchasing the water filters with vitamin C, the air filtration systems. Tell us more about other things and have a better well-being.
100%. So I'm releasing a new book. It's called
of course.
Fat Home, Fat Body. And the reason why I'm releasing this book is because your home essentially is the one thing that should heal you, not harm you, not poison you. It should be a place of rejuvenation and rest and balance, right? And so one of the things that you can do, and they're very simple things that you can do, and it doesn't cost a lot of money to make these little changes. It's just becoming aware that the water that comes into your home is extremely toxic. Reason for that is the municipalities, the water treatment companies do a great job filtering that water, cleaning that water, but unfortunately from the water municipality to your home is traveling in pipes that are over 100 years old. You've got lead, you've got salmonella, poisoning, E. coli, millions of things, and plus all the chemicals that they use that seeps into our system. So by putting a filter, right, on your shower, I say in my book, I say that your bathroom is the most toxic place in your entire home. And the reason for that is because if you think about it, when we shower, all those chemicals, microscopic vapors, release into the air, right? Chemicals, you're shampooing your hair, that releases, that off-gasses those chemicals, they settle in on dust. Next thing you know, you're contaminating your dust, you're breathing your dust. And there was an article in the New York Times that says dust makes you fat. And you're thinking, what? Are you kidding me? It's because these chemicals that off-gas from all the things we're using in our homes. So by putting on a shower filter, you're going to eliminate all the chemicals that are in your water, right? You're going to clean up the air a little bit. The other thing that I also talk about is inexpensive ways to make your home cleaner. Keep your doors and windows open often. The reason for that is because your home is up to 100 times more polluted and toxic than outdoor air. And so think about it. If you're constantly breathing in those chemicals, yes, these chemicals are called endocrine disruptors. They basically cause an imbalance, and it causes you to gain weight or have problems keeping the weight off because you're taking in these chemicals that look like, smell like, and act like estrogen, or what we call endocrine. And so those type of chemicals, when you take those things off the table, weightless, weight loss and wellness becomes a lot easier to achieve. So it's critical. Plants are another thing that you want to incorporate because they absorb bad toxic material and they release good carbon, CO2 into the air.
Nice.
So that's another one. Vacuuming is often keeping things clean as possible. And again, here's what I preach and teach all the time to my clients is get in the habit when you shop, no matter what it is, if you're buying food, if you're buying a product, right? Stop and think, is there a cleaner option? Is there an 80% less toxic option? And I guarantee you today is that organic produce and products are skyrocketing because consumers are demanding that they're not poisoned, right, through these products. If you can get in that habit of becoming aware and just going, this food, is there an option that's organic? Is it the same price? Or is it less? Because what we're finding with the abundance of organics now becoming in everything, that they're competing head to head with conventional produce and foods for the same price. Some I've found for less. For an example, another thing in your home that's very toxic, a lot of people don't understand, is basically laundry detergent. And the reason for that is because there's so many chemicals in laundry detergent to clean your clothes, but there's organic laundry detergent. There's a cleaner laundry detergent at the same or less price. But here's the problem, is what we call fabric sheets or deodorants or detergents. When we wash our clothes, we put them on our skin. And when it's hot, we sweat. And so we absorb that. And there's so much toxic chemicals in these products, right? And no wonder people are walking around fat, sick, and tired because they're not aware of all these things. So this book is basically aware care for the 21st century on how to turn your home, turn your body into something that's toxic to less toxic. And in chapter 6, I talk about the 80-20 rule. It's not living in a bubble. My book isn't about living in a bubble. It's about being aware and working on a goal to get your body 80% less toxic through the products, the food that we eat, and also the products that we put on our skin and our mouth, toothpaste, underarm deodorant. These are all things that are highly toxic and directly causes cancer, period.
Beautiful.
So there's so much more that you can learn and do by becoming aware and just taking that habit of no matter what you buy, even to paint, that you paint your walls with, non-toxic, non-lead paint, right? It's just saying
makeup, right?
Everything. It's just stopping and getting that habit of going, let me choose a cleaner product.
Right.
That's it. That's the beauty of life itself, right?
Love it.
So,
it's like a clean life. I've been taking my clients to the street fair and the farmers market so they can learn how to get things that are literally growing locally and in season, because I found that they can enjoy the taste and the beauty of eating something that's seasonal more. And the more that people can learn some of the beautiful things you touched on, I mean, there's just such a wealth of good information, and they can pass it on generation to next generation, and hopefully every generation carries this through. We can have a healthier, happier, longer living, sustainable health lifetime.
Absolutely, 100%. And one of the things, as I talk about in your program, is about energy and spiritual enlightenment. And as I said in the beginning of our podcast here, is that it's body, mind, spirit, or soul, right?
Holistic.
So, correct. We work on our body, right? We avoid those things that pollute it and disrupt it and cause those imbalances. And then we start to achieve those better feelings, right? Those better thoughts, less cravings, right? Because when your gut is balanced and there's a good symbiotic relationship between good and bad, and I talk to my clients all the time, with my 80-20 rule, I don't want them to be clean all the time. I want them to employ, right? And I use that word employ, their detoxification system, because if there was no work to do, they would lay themselves off, right? And go on strike.
Yeah.
So you want to get that balance of that 80-20. And that 20%, reward yourself. Junk it out, right? Drink. Do whatever it is that makes you happy, but be committed.
Well, not with my clients. We don't want to tell them to drink. If you're allergic,
Drink sugary drinks.
But yes, I hear you. Got it. Yes.
The addictive properties of
I personally would make that choice.
Sodas and things like that. I wasn't talking alcohol.
No, even sugar. Like I've been abstinent and for some time now, and also from red meat since '91. But I mean, there's a lot of personal choices we make. I certainly didn't make that choice as right away as I moved in. You know, things gradually you evolve and you start to go, wow, I'd like to release this, and wow, I'd like to release that, and then you just get more on the path, and you can't imagine going backwards. It seems,
right, sugar,
uncomfortable. It seems unnatural, actually.
Yeah,
and it ought to be unnatural, because I think our human condition, we were meant to eat in a more healthy fashion. It's just that things have kind of been marketed a different way.
Well,
so
look,
I'm grateful you are marketing it in a more, getting back to our roots, getting back to the authentic way that the human condition is meant to live.
right.
If you ask me, based on your teachings, and I know a lot about your teachings and how you have shared them, and it's just really practical and very, about applicable. And I like that, because if it were like complicated enough, I can't even, it seems insurmountable. Even my clients who are just in recovery here, they see where it is practical. It is actually applicable, and they want more, and then it feels good. Like, I love what you shared about the serotonin. If something feels good, of course, and look to that, like really weigh it out. Does this feel good? Does this not? Notice your body. I just had a client share with me, I went back to eating something that she had been released, and she was like, and I felt a difference toward a more sluggish, more tired feeling, of which I didn't like. So it's nice to watch the shift. So I can see where that 80-20,
absolutely,
really be useful.
And look, let's not kid ourselves. These food companies, they are not fighting fair.
Their budgets are insane, right?
They are fighting unfair, and they're using literally everything in their toolkit to get you addicted to their product. Right?
And really, a lot of those chemicals are quite really addictive.
It's crazy.
Sugar at the top, really, refined sugar.
100%.
But
And like you said earlier, things have changed versus what our ancestors were experiencing in the foods that they ate, versus today with the Industrial Revolution, and also with the processing of everything. Bottom line is, you're right. Sugar is so addictive. There's 36,000 product variances, items in a grocery store. Out of those 36,000, 80% of that has sugar in it.
My gosh.
Why is that?
I have, it's
because
you'll
it's
buy it again.
addictive. It's so addictive.
Yeah.
Look, if you're trying to get your addictions in check, right, you need to address your gut bacteria, because your gut, as I said, the Candida yeast infection, they live off of one thing: processed. The reason why they're spinning around, multiplying, making babies, because they're hyper, bacteria. In order to maintain that and work on that is just basically start taking those probiotics and looking at foods and doing that 80-20 rule in my book, right?
Yeah.
Of just eliminating 80% of this, that, and the other. Go clean, right?
Love it.
Not only in your food, but go clean mostly in your lifestyle, and the foods, as well as every product. Look, if you can't put it in your mouth, you shouldn't put it on your skin.
I love that.
Right?
Yeah, I've heard that before, and I agree.
So think about that. And, I'm not 100%. I write books, but I guarantee you, if you come into my home and you look in my fridge, that 80% of it, of the products and the foods that I have in my home, have 80% less stabilizers, preservatives, chemicals, right? Organic, all natural, things like that. And it's that simple. It's not going to happen overnight. I tell my clients this all the time. It's a perpetual step of developing new, good, healthy habits.
Beautiful.
Right? Walking into the store and being adamant, is this product here? Oh, look, there's an organic one. Same price, right? So,
choices, yes.
no brainer. It's simple.
But it is just that using your brain, which is a muscle, and a lot of people
It's
just
a habit.
haven't chose to do that at times and made the poor choice of what just looked better by package. And honestly, like, I personally shop mostly in health food stores today because I go into regular markets and most of the time it's really challenging. I mean, I shop the outer parameters mostly of a store because in the middle is just so much canned and processed stuff that it's not worth my time going through, you know, but it is a choice. And of course, farmers markets is the best way if you can find
Look,
that, which are...
As I said before, even the food grocery stores and the department stores, they are not fighting fair. They're using every psychological warfare against you to make poor choices.
Right.
And as I said, you know, we're going to put the food here on this eye level because this is where the sugary products are. Look, it's just that simple. If you want to achieve the things in your life, you just get into this one habit. This one habit will fix your entire life, your happiness, your health. Right? Look, you said health is wealth, and we say that so easily, but when I'm consulting a guy that's worth $100 million, and he told me this story as we were consulting, he said, look, I'm on the beach right now, and I've got just beautiful beach, servants around, women around, a yacht out there, and the only thing I can think about right now is every time I drink water or whatever, it hurts so bad because he had throat cancer, right?
Wow.
And it hurt so bad. It didn't matter that he had anything. It mattered that one thing. And when we get sick, look, a lot of people probably are going to get COVID, right? Or some variation of it. And I had it, and it kicked my butt. A health and wellness practitioner, you know, I'm a human. And I was in bed, weak, and just, I couldn't think about anything. My wealth, nothing, having fun, nothing, doing nothing. It's so important. And I'm going to end with this, and how I got started is a great story.
Please
I don't
do.
know if I've shared this with you before,
Okay.
but I was, and it was in a couple other books, I just bought a house, and I was putting up a stencil. It was about 10 feet long and about a foot wide, and the stencil was my favorite saying. And it was, live as though you'll live forever, live as though you'll die tomorrow, right? So I really love that because it says live in the present because you never know when you're going to die. So I'm halfway putting the stencil on. I had the window open, and this was watching the news, and it said Steve Jobs passed away. It was many years ago. And I was like, how is that possible? I was so shocked that a multi-billionaire died of whatever. Couldn't he have the money, right? And I was like, wow. My next thought was, what is my health worth, right? Would Steve Jobs give his entire net worth if it was possible for me to give him my health, right? Because I'm in perfect health. Well, his net worth at the time was worth $10 billion. I guarantee you he would probably say, yes, let's do this deal because he'll make more money. I bet there's billionaires that would pay billions of dollars if they were terminally ill to exchange for your health. So it doesn't matter. That is everything, is your health is your wealth. And by taking care of it, living longer, stronger, is the key for everything. The bottom line is, look, that I read an article about statistics, and the statistics of you being here and me being here, right? What happened? The planets had to align. Certain things, your grandpa, grandma, aunts, uncles, everyone had to align perfectly in order to give birth to you to experience a body, right? And the experiences of sight, sound, taste, all these gifts that you have in your life, right? And the bottom line is that they said the odds were 400 trillion to 1 that you receive a body to experience the gift of life, right?
Yeah.
Playing the lottery is 200 to 300 million to 1. Put that in that perspective. So we have one body. So here's the instruction manual to maintain it, right? And to live longer.
And I love what you said, as a preventative. So we don't wait till we're ill, but adopt this lifestyle now. Seize the moment now, and just live your best life. Because if we can live optimally healthy, we experience more joy, more peace, more basically of all the spiritual principles we love to experience.
Look, the average person in America is taking 6 to 7 prescription medications.
I know.
Right? And you think about that, well, that's not the problem. That's just, you know,
Band-Aids.
profiteering, right? Off of symptoms. But you have to think about the side effects, right? I get a kick out watching these drug commercials, right? They talk about this beautiful lifestyle, but then they have to disclose, right?
The side effects. I mean,
And it's
may cause
blood
cancer.
stools, blah, blah, blah.
Ouch.
Inability to rationalize reality and the truth. I mean, just crazy stuff. It's not a good life.
Inability to. Oh my
There was
goodness.
one
You
that
can't
said
be real.
inability to rationalize. And that means suicidal, basically, if you have suicidal thoughts. That's not a life you want, right? You want a life where you go through it and enjoy this gift that we have.
Love it. Love it. Yay. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come and share with people that really want something more for their health and well-being, that want to share this with the people they love and care about so that they can lead healthier lives. So, I want to encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube station. This way we can reach more people and be at access from your home or anywhere you are. Take a look at Cielo Spiritual Foundation as well as Cielo Sober Living. Is that the name of it, Jesse? Yeah? Okay. We have 2 YouTube, and then there's Michelle Garcia. But right now we're focusing on my nonprofit, Cielo Spiritual Foundation, and that particular YouTube. So thank you for supporting. Thank you for listening and learning. And I hope you got something that helps you lead a happy, healthy, holistic lifestyle.
Thank you.